Reading your spouse's mind. Make Aging Great Again by the Retirement Coach. My spouse and I have a unique way to spice up our lives. Sitting together on our couch a few days back, I said, "I know what you were thinking, and the answer is no," to which she replied, "I wasn't going to ask that question. I was going to ask you something else." To which I replied, "The answer is still no." With women's thoughts, men are safest when declaring a firm no. One can then soften somewhat with a firm maybe, thus creating some ground with which to work. A book read long ago by a Harvard professor called Getting to Yes was once all the rage. It was passed on enthusiastically to used car dealers and phone callers from India selling a host of impressive products. My spouse and I are so proficient at this mental telepathy that we rarely speak to one another anymore. That's where the spice comes in. 2 times in the past month, we simply jumped into our car quite late at night and sped off into the darkness to our new interest, a rather large building with an even larger parking lot. We parked in the emergency section, which saved us $6 per hour. Our visits usually last 4 or 5 hours, so it's quite a savings for 2 people on the dreaded fixed income. We were impressed on the first visit. Because my spouse experienced cardiovascular problems, after registering, we were immediately escorted inside the emergency care station. She was placed upon a comfortable bed. A nurse hooked her up to an intravenous gadget that dripped transparent liquid into a vein. A clothespin type of apparatus was placed on her finger. Immediately, a large scoreboard type of machine registered all sorts of numbers and graphs and such that kept us amused for hours. A doctor eventually arrived to spoil our fun. They wheeled in a machine with 2 paddles. That certainly caused her scoreboard to both light up and speed up significantly. After all that fun, we returned home around 3 a.m. The roads were quite empty. Our second visit was not as much fun. This time, my spouse's back was quite sore. Let me give you some advice. If you ever take your spouse to the hospital's emergency ward, even if your spouse has no such symptoms, tell them first that her heart feels funny if you want quick service. A sore back sets you back a minimum of 3.5 hours. It's rather clever how they actually process one. After the compulsory registration, you are advised to sit in the urgent care section. This is an opportunity for seniors to meet and greet young children coughing with dripping noses, a teen with a knife wound who bled all over the place, and an obese mother and daughter who might easily have formed a formidable professional wrestling tag team. The first 2 hours went by relatively easily as we watched the aforementioned children, bleeder and wrestlers. When I finally complained at the front desk, I was told to move to Section A in the urgent care lobby. Apparently, there are gradations of urgent, as in more urgent, less urgent, somewhat urgent, and so on. I do not want to hazard a guess as to what the letter A stands for. Many guesses are bad words. Anyway, we progressed through sections A, B and C. Finally, she saw a doctor who spent 5 minutes with her and gave her a prescription for pain pills. As we again drove home amidst no traffic at 3 a.m., I said, "This has been fun, and I know what you were thinking." "I wasn't thinking how much money we saved with parking," she replied. "I was thinking that the pharmacy doesn't open until 10 a.m. Thanks for watching.